And we are live. Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining us again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
It is Ugo Strange, two-time savior of the world, AJ Styles of the internet.
And it's your boy Uber Hikari, aka the nerd nigga.
And we are here to bring you all another Discussion of the Week video segment right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. Dude, I feel like I'm getting too old to be saying that, man.
Weekly.
So, and as always, we're finally back to bring you all another live Discussion of the Week video segment. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in, joining us live, and thank you all for watching after the fact if you're seeing this later on the OAW YouTube channel. So, gentlemen, we have our first new Discussion of the Week topic, our first fan-submitted Discussion of the Week topic, and funny enough, it's actually a revisit from an old video of mine. So this is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so check this out. So this week's Discussion of the Week topic comes from Carlos8560, and he states, "Hey, I was watching your rant on your problems with anime and manga video just now and had an idea for a discussion of the week. The idea is, do you feel any differently about anime and manga? Is your anime aesthetic still dead, or has it been resurrected with the new Toonami and the simulcast from Funimation? I think it would be a good topic to discuss, and some updated thoughts would be nice. LOL, thanks." So what we're pretty much going to do, first time around when I went ahead and I did this rant, I was by myself. But now, you know, I got my boy Ugo and I got Hikari here. So we're pretty much going to go around the table giving our thoughts on this. And actually, so what I'll do is this. I'll just pretty much refresh everybody on what that video was pretty much about. And then I'll let Hikari and then Ugo respectively give their thoughts on it, and then I will give you all my updated thoughts on the topic. All right, sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so pretty much Carlos is referring back to a rant I did back like during the summer of 2011, right around the time when I stopped doing weekly anime and manga reviews, which at the time was pretty much weekly Naruto and One Piece anime and manga reviews. And pretty much the rant, long story short, was pretty much me sharing my dissatisfaction for what I was reading and what I was writing. What I was reading and what I was watching at the time. So, like I said, I was reading, watching, and reviewing Naruto and One Piece every week. And it had finally got to the point where both of those series no longer interest me. And that's because I felt like the material had become stale. I felt like it had become generic. I felt like it was pretty much the same run-of-the-mill thing that I was used to, and there wasn't much change and there wasn't much progress, and it all sort of felt like a dead end. At the same time, my tastes were starting to change, so I wasn't necessarily even getting interested in the same type of material anymore. And yeah, and then also at the same time, I started watching even older anime, and the more I studied older series, the more I started to realize that the new series of the time. So even in that rant, I talk about like Bleach, I talk about Fairy Tail, I talk about Hitman Reborn, I talk about Toriko. Like even those new series that were the most popular at the time, they weren't breaking any new ground. They were pretty much just regurgitating the same old song, just with you know, a new shade, if you will. It was the same pig, they were just using a different shade of lipstick. So yeah, so that was pretty much what that rant was about. You know, those my God, like 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago.
Right.
Now the funny thing is, I know like we've all discussed this topic before, either in private or on camera at some point in time. But now, like I said, you know, it's kind of different because the same shows and the same series that were the most popular back then aren't necessarily the most popular anymore. Like Naruto has ended. You know, yeah, it has a sequel series now, but the original series is done. Bleach is getting ready to finish.
No, he finished already.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it's been done.
So the manga, okay, so the Bleach manga's finished. The only one that's still stomping around from back then. Well, is Fairy Tail still going on?
I believe so, but Toriko is finished, and Hitman Reborn is finished.
Yeah, well, Hitman Reborn was finished by the time I had done that video. But okay, so yeah, so it's like only two of the series that I was talking about in that video are still around. And since then, I mean, we've seen what? Attack on Titan, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia. There's been a few series that have sort of, become the new the new It series, the new popular series. So I thought it'd be interesting enough for all of us to pretty much give our thoughts on that topic.
So for me, it's a little interesting, my journey with anime and manga, because I feel like Larry in a lot of ways when it comes to the anime aesthetic. I mean, it seems like when you first find something, a medium that's great, your first impulse is to go to what everybody says was great. And so once you hit up all the great series, what's left are the not so great series. And as time progresses, you just fall out of love with that stuff, simply because the quality of the series that you can continue to watch just degrades over time as you watch all of the great ones. That all the not so great ones are left over. As a result of that, my taste really changed, mostly because although I liked shonen anime and manga, my preference really wasn't for shonen. It started out initially as shonen, but then I found seinen, and seinen is really where I belong, I think. Mostly because of not even the narratives. I just enjoy the characterization more, and I enjoy more complexity with respect to the themes that are discussed in seinen as opposed to shonen. But I never really had a problem with today's anime and manga, because right now I don't really watch or read today's anime and manga. The most popular series I don't even keep up with anymore. And to be honest, the frequency with which I watch anime and manga, even in general now, has decreased so much. So that's pretty much it. But I will say this though. I mean, I know Ugo Strange and Larry are big sticklers for originality, and I don't care about originality. Like, again, the only thing that I tend to value is it good or not? That's the only thing I care about. I don't care if it's original. I don't care if it's predictable. I don't care if it's been done a million times. The only thing I care about is whether or not it's good. If it's good, I'll watch it or read it.
I can dig that. I'm gonna say the same thing I always say whenever the topic of anime and manga comes up. Me and anime broke up. We saw each other for a long time. It was really good. No, I fell in love with her back when Sailor Moon was still hot, and then Dragon Ball Z. I was a Toonami kid. Those were the golden years. And then after that, she said some things, I said some things, and we broke up. We got back together around Death Note, and it was good. But then after that, we decided to see.
Hey, Hugo, you still there?
Yeah, am I lagging?
Yeah.
Am I lagging?
Yeah. Just repeat, when y'all got back together after Death Note.
Oh, yeah. So we got back together after Death Note. We knew it couldn't last. I started seeing her again around Dead Man's Wonderland, but
wow.
Nothing could happen. So, yeah, anime broke up. So, Dragon Ball Super, I mean, that's cool. It's Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Hugo, you're breaking up.
All right. I'm gonna come back.
All right. Yeah, so pretty much to answer that question, cause he says, let's see. The idea is, do you feel any differently about anime and manga? Is your anime aesthetic still dead, or has it been resurrected with the new Toonami and the simulcast Funimation? Okay, so pretty much to address that question, my thoughts aren't necessarily the same as they were back then, and it's pretty much because of something that Hikari actually said to me. Because when we talked about this discussion, like I said, because me, Hikari, you and I have talked about this in, I think it might have been a mainstream or something like that back in the day. But pretty much like my thoughts and feelings on it have changed just because I've come to realize two things, or actually three things. Number one, not all anime are created equally. Number two, not all anime are created for everybody.
Right.
And number three, and this is the most important thing, that's the point. The second, I started looking at it as like, because Hikari, you told me back then, it was like, no, Larry, it's like you're not tired of anime, you're tired of shonen anime, because that's that's the majority of what you've been exposed to. And you're right, because once I started looking at other anime, I didn't feel the same way about it. The thing is, it's like, shonen is a genre in anime and manga, just like any other genre in any other medium. It's like if you're watching something supernatural, you can expect to see a ghost every once in a while. If you're watching something science fiction, you can expect to see an alien every once in a while. So it all depends on what it is you're exposing yourself to. So the second I started looking at, number one, not all anime are the same. So because they are not the same, you cannot hold them to the same standard. Now, that being said, whenever I reviewed anime and manga in the past, I never held certain anime to the same standard as all the other anime I was exposed to. I would hold it to the same standard of its kind. So like I said, like the one comparison I would always make when I was reviewing Bleach, I would compare Bleach to Yu Yu Hakusho, because those series are very much alike. They even have the same director. So like that was a fair comparison. Or like I would compare Naruto to DBZ, because those series are very much alike. So the thing is, but like I said, going back to what I was saying, just to reiterate, when I started realizing that not every anime is the same, nor is every anime supposed to be the same, that was the first step. And then number two, not all anime is made for everybody. And that was the thought that really made me start to go back and appreciate like other anime as well, like Pokemon, which is actually going to be the next anime favorite video I do is on Pokemon. People shit on that anime a lot, but most of those people, it's because that anime is not meant for you. A 20-something-year-old shitting on Pokemon, dude, you're not supposed to be watching that series. You're grown. And the same thing with there are some series in the magical girl genre that people will rag on that, and it's like, it's the magical girl genre. If 9 times out of 10, if you're not a chick, you aren't going to be into it. That anime is not meant for you. So when I started looking at it like that too, and just to use another comparison, dude, it's the same way how I felt about Supergirl, the Supergirl TV show. It's like, just because it's a superhero property doesn't mean that show is explicitly targeted towards me. It's not. So the fact that I couldn't get into it doesn't mean like, oh, I just don't like superhero material. No, it just means that one show was not meant for you. It wasn't made with you in mind. You weren't the targeted demographic. So yeah, and then lastly, but most importantly, it's okay. It's okay that I'm not into Attack on Titan. It's okay that I'm not into, what's another one that I did care to get into? I'm not really big on One Punch Man. I've seen it and it's okay. I'm just not huge in it. I did get a couple of chuckles out of it, but there have been some anime series that I actually did get into. Hunter x Hunter, I got into that. Granted, that is an older series. It's a remake of an older series, but like I am into that series and I like it a lot. And there's some other ones that I've been vaguely exposed to. Food Wars, really, really crazy little anime. I dug it. What is it? Blood Battle Brigade. That one, I only saw like the first 2 episodes, but that one I would have finished watching it. And I intend to go back and finish it. Assassination School. I didn't think I'd like it, and I liked it. And that's like a comedy. Shit, what's another one that damn, I'm trying to think of another one. Food Wars, Assassination School, The Boy and the Beast. Still need to see that. Been waiting to see that. And a dub's out for it, so I'm gonna be seeing that relatively soon. But in many ways, I do feel a lot like you, like Hikari on this issue. It's like I don't watch anime new anime. I'm not watching any new ongoing series right now, because even Hunter x Hunter that ended years ago. So I'm not watching any new series right now, but I also don't watch anime as often anymore, because like Hunter x Hunter is the only one I've been following. Like I will watch it almost every day. And then once I'm done with that, I'll probably find another series and then I'll just watch that one. You know what I mean? But I'm not like doing the whole like 6, 7, 8 series at the same damn time thing again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Hikari.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for me, the shift really happened when I just realized I didn't have the same, what's the word I'm looking for? The same level of excitement for anime and manga that I used to have. I mean, it just fell off. I mean, it used to be the case that I would watch at least 3 or 4 episodes of anime or read a couple of volumes of manga a day. And it was like every day for like a very long time, back to back, series after series after series. And then, so I was doing that. And then the initial shift came between shonen and seinen. And then another shift happened where I just stopped watching it altogether. And now it's like cyclical. Like it's like only when I get the taste for it, kind of like a particular kind of food. Like now I like it, I can eat it, but now I have to get the taste for it. And it's the same thing with other mediums as well. I noticed, like novels, for example. Like it just so happens that maybe I'll read like maybe 20 books. I'll just get like get that itch to read novels, and I'll read like 20 books, and then I just won't read again for like maybe 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And so that's what happened with anime and manga. It was a gradual shifting of my anime aesthetic, where there was a shift in the demographic genre, and then another shift that was less in intensity.
Yeah, and see, and I had the same habit too, because like whenever I was watching a show for the first time, like that was pretty much my routine, was every like at least 4 episodes, because I started this habit when I was watching Naruto in Japanese, when I was like, I'm tired of waiting every week on Toonami. I'm just gonna start watching it, because this was when I discovered YouTube, like in 06.
Yep.
And I would like do 4 episodes a night. When I had like my little, before bedtime snack or whatever. And I did that with Naruto, Death Note, Bleach. And then it got to the point where I had caught up. See, that was the other thing too. I was behind in all those shows. Then when I caught up, and it became a weekly thing where I had to wait around, every week for it, And then of course, you know, like the bulk of my college years, but even around the time when I had stopped reviewing anime and manga on the channel, like Sekirei, Claymore, I went back and rewatched Code Geass, I went back and rewatched Basilisk. And I was still doing the same thing back then, you know, like knocking out like 3 or 4 episodes a night or whatever. But yeah, it's like you said, it's that enthusiasm. It has kind of, you know, sort of died out. But I will say this though, when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, and you know, and I'm watching it, and you know, and people are telling me like, oh, you know, it's going to get good, this, and the other. It wasn't until they got to the what was it, the battle arena, the battle tower or whatever,
right,
that I was like, all right, I like this. I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting that feeling, dude. The what is it? The Phantom Troop. That's when I was like, I got to go to work the next morning. I got time for 2 more episodes.
right.
You know, when the Phantom Troop episodes was going on, that's when I was doing like I was watching 1 episode for lunch. Then when I knock off work, I go back to the crib and then try to knock out like 3 more episodes before I went to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I was on it, dude, and I was watching every day that whole Phantom Troop arc. Like it was good, and you know, I kind of, you know, felt that excitement again. But for the most part, like I haven't really felt that. I will say this though. And here's another big thing too, because we can't ignore this. We can't ignore this, and I know this has to be it has to have something to do with it. All those other series I mentioned that I was into when I was younger, I wasn't a critic back then. So I wasn't looking at all of this material with a critical eye. When you start doing that and you start dissecting all of this and you start deconstructing all of this material, when those faults come to the surface, it is going to affect your enjoyment of the series. That's the main reason why. That's the main reason why, like it really did take a lot for me to start reviewing like Arrow again, because like after season 2 of Arrow, when I started looking at that like critically, I'm like, there's no way I can enjoy this series. So and I feel like that with a lot of series that I've reviewed, where it's like I need to stop looking at it with a critical eye. Now here's the thing. That's not necessarily to say that it's a bad thing to look at your material like that, because once again, the best material holds up against scrutiny.
Right.
But at the same time, it is going to take a toll on you if it's a constant thing. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it does behoove you to just, you know, just watch it. I'm not saying turn your mind off. I'm not saying that at all. I hate that expression and I hate that activity. But sometimes it is good to just be, just sit and watch and be. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Ugo?
If I don't start lagging, because apparently everybody in the comments telling me I'm lagging something bad. Yes, I am recording this on a potato. Thank you for asking so much. Anyway, no, new anime just hasn't appealed to me. You know, I got into anime back when it was still a very, very niche market kind of deal. Like I was watching, you know, Trigun, Oh My Goddess, Ramna One Half, Tenchi, all of these things before Toonami even had them, you know. So when Toonami sort of brought anime up to the mainstream, it was like, yo, they stealing my culture, man. Now I gotta go and find something new. So I was kind of sour about that for the longest time. But after that, it's like I started noticing anime getting more homogenized. Like, no offense to anybody who does watch it, but I saw like Naruto, I watched a couple episodes of that, and I was like, this is kind of a Dragon Ball Z derivative. Like, it's got its own stories and all that, but it was very derivative. I just got really tired of the action animes where it was all about fighting or ninjas or, you know, martial arts, things like that, and I wanted to get something different, and there really wasn't anything like that up until that point. Then I just said, okay, screw it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just like, okay, anime is something entirely different now, and I'll just let it be its own thing. And then Death Note came along, and I was like, okay. And I watched that, and I was amazed, because Death Note at its core was a very simple detective story that Light didn't have any superpowers. There wasn't no fighting or anything like that. It was just a very, very good detective story. And I was like, damn,
Right.
I wish more anime could be like this, where it's not this grandiose, blown up thing. It is, but like a lot of that is dialogue, where Light has his moments where he has his stroke of genius, and that's his charge up, if you will, where you get the operatic music, the crazy imagery and all that. And I'm like, I love this. So to me, it's like anime will come back, will be better to me when it starts being more daring with what it does. Because Dead Man's Wonderland was very interesting if they would have just stuck with the premise they had. And then all of a sudden he has this powers where he can bend his blood and do things with it, and I'm just like, no. Good story, and then you turned it into crap. I looked into Future Diary, that looked cool, and then I was like, I can't really get into this. So I don't know. I'm having like a Larry moment where I'm just going back and looking at some older stuff. Like I rewatched Gundam Wing, last year, and I was like, man, this is really well written. I want more like this. And I'm trying to get back and watching Evangelion, and I'm going to review that, and at least try to on the blog. So it's just a matter of like, what made these stories good? How come anime wasn't homogenized back then? Why am I noticing this now? And what animes are coming out that aren't homogenized? And I feel like it's because it's the anime, it's anime. And I feel like, no, it's just a show. Watch it. Like, I don't know. People in the comments talk about shonen, this, that, seinen, this, that, the other. It's just a show, man. Like, I don't know. We don't do that with anything else. Like, we don't say, oh, you watch NCIS.
You're lagging again, Ugo.
Can't watch. It's just a cartoon. Like, it's animation. It's not its own subgenre. It's animation, man. Animation, Teen Titans, Young Justice, it's animation. If it's good stories, it's good stories.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing too is interesting enough though is that we're getting even with anime though we're starting to get we're getting a lot of remakes because I think that's still going on and sequels because I'll tell you right now one anime I'm really looking forward to is the Code Geass, the new season of Code Geass. Whenever that comes out. And then next month, I'm actually going to check out the Sailor Moon remake that came out a couple of years ago. So,
question.
Yeah.
When did anime start doing seasons? Y'all remember when it was just arcs?
Oh no, they've been doing seasons. Even because here's the thing, dude. Even like Dragon Ball Z, even with the arcs, they still had seasons, and you could always tell based off of the box set. Like if you go back and look at the old DVD box sets, they have the season numbering on them.
Okay, but the box set, yes. But I'm saying like it doesn't work like it does with American television, where you can tell, oh, this is the season premiere and this is the season finale. It doesn't work like that. Like, you have to close DBZ in arcs.
It depends on the anime. It depends on the anime. If it runs all year long like One Piece, yeah, it's kind of harder to be able to keep up with the seasons. But if it's a seasonal anime, you know when the seasons are,
right?
Because you only get 13 episodes per season.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch on what Larry was talking about how sometimes viewing things with a critical eye could decrease your enthusiasm for a series. And I'm not really sure if that ever happened to me. mostly because of how I view things. So for me, the only thing that will immediately destroy a story for me is some sort of gap in narrative plausibility. Like that's really the only thing that to me that would be absolutely irredeemable. If you're writing something and I can no longer have suspension of disbelief, then at that point it's just over for me. So that's really the only thing that destroys the series for me. And I will say that after that, everything else is pretty much fair game, simply because of how I view my experience of consuming the medium. And that basically involves this. The only thing that a series or any anime or manga or novel has to do is to tell me something insightful about the human condition. That's the only standard I have. And I've gone through a series where I have criticized literally every single detail. And then I get to the end of the final episode and I'll be like, damn, that was awesome. But the whole time I'm criticizing the hell out of it. But at the very end, I'll be like, man, that viewing experience was really awesome for me. And I do it with everything. And also, I've been studying narratives and literature since I got into college. At this point, it's second nature to me. Like I don't even turn it off. I don't turn it off and I don't turn it on. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And so my critical eye never really destroys anything for me. Like I can admit when something is bad, but still moves me. A great example of this is not necessarily anime or manga, but the Suicide Squad movie. Like people hated that movie, and I liked that movie. Like, and the thing, and I know it's crazy, but like again, like it's nothing. Like my critical eye doesn't destroy stuff for me. And for Suicide Squad, the one thing that changed the entire movie for me was the scene in the bar where they started playing Etta James. Like that whole thing just got to me. It made me feel a certain way. It made me think about the human condition. It gave me some insight into human nature or my own humanity. And that's really the only standard I have for something that I like, that I love, or that I like.
I can ruin that movie for you, Uber. I'm not going to, but I could.
Well,
You can't.
I could sit up here and be like, this nigga crazy, and
No,
this is.
because
I could, but here's the thing. I could, but I love Van Helsing, and that's not exactly the creme de la creme of cinema. And I like the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
No, but
well, you like the director's cut, Larry. There's a difference.
No, I like both of them.
Here's the important thing. No one has the power to destroy your viewing experience. If something moves you, if it speaks to you in some way, if it makes you ruminate about something, an idea, or it doesn't even have to be an idea, an emotion. If it makes you cry, if it gives you some enjoyment, some fulfillment, nobody has the power to take that experience away from you. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how critical it is, because you are the one who creates the standards for your own viewing experience, not anyone else. And no one has the power to destroy that for you.
Bars.
Yo, hold up. Here you go. Mic drop. But all right, so guys, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this topic. Any final thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
Yep, that'll do it for me.
All right, so yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this week's discussion of the week video. I want to thank you all for joining us again this week. I want to thank Carlos 8560, I believe, once again for the topic. And please feel free, if you have yet to do so, please leave suggestions for future discussion of the week topics in the comments below. And also thumb up the one you want to see the most, and that's one that we will take in consideration for the next video. I want to go ahead and take this time to thank all 91 of our viewers for joining us live, and I also want to take this time to once again thank Ugo Strange and Uber Hikari for joining me for another live discussion of the week video. So with that being said, we have one more segment for you all tonight, and that is our advice corner video. So please feel free, join us over in that live stream, and we will see you all then. With that being said, it's been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
Ugo Strange, the lag is real with this one.
And your boy Uber Hikari, aka the nerd nigga.
And until next time, peace.